her relationships with other people is just not going to be authentic, and it's not going to be the same. I get definitely keeping up with the Joneses energy from them. Queen of Wands, King of Cups, yeah, Ace of Pentacles. I get keeping up with the Joneses energy. 5 of Pentacles and 3 of Swords. And that's going to be her demise. Not even in this relationship. Hi everyone, welcome back to No Light Tarot. My name is Holly. So grateful to have you all. So this is a channel about hot topics through a tarot perspective. I just want to let you guys know, I will put up timestamps in the video so you can jump ahead. I just want to let you know about the layout that I have going on for the next few weeks. I'd say like 2-3 weeks. I will be doing it on my bed. I just got a new bed. It's so comfortable. That's not the reason why. I'm shifting everything around so that I get a new desk and I get so forth and so forth. So until I have my new desk, I plan on showing you the cards when I pull them and stuff like that. So until I have my new setup, I'm going to be doing it like I used to do when I started up the channel 2 years ago. Can't believe time has gone by like this, but yeah, so that's just my explanation for why I'm sitting on my bed and doing this. Yeah, please like the video if you like it. I'll remind you later. And if you're new, please stick around. Go to the different timestamps if you don't want to hear me tell stories and so forth. I understand some people just are not into hearing a lot, and that's totally fine. Don't tell me how to change my style though, because that I have an issue with. Okay, so let's get into the reading. I'm really excited to be doing this. I decided to do 3-in-1 like I have been doing. A lot of you have gotten great feedback about it. A lot of you love it. So I'm going to continue to be doing that. Okie dokie, so let's get into it. I have taken requests. I do take requests. So if you're interested in hearing a video or seeing a video, excuse me, please check out the community tab that I post every week. I post the community tab. So you subscribe for that. And I'll post up to ask what kind of video you want to see. Please only ask for one because I have a lot of videos to do. And also, if you have a butterfly, if you remember, it's $4.99 a month, you will always have one of the videos you requested in that week done. Okay, there's other great membership perks too. Yeah. Okay, so I'm doing Gabrielle Union. Actually, a member did ask me to do this, and I find it very interesting to do it. I mean, I think I told the story. I met Dwyane Wade, her husband, like a long time ago. Not really that long ago, but I'd say 5 years ago. It was like 5 years ago. I was at a karaoke bar, and I met his friend. It's actually kind of a funny story. Again, you could jump ahead if you don't want to hear this. It's just, I think it's nice sometimes to tell stories. But I met his friend first. I don't know if I should be telling this one, but anyways, I met his friend first, and his friend came to me at the bar and was like, I was there with my friends. He came to me at the bar and he was talking to me, very cool guy. He said he was from Chicago, so forth and so forth. And I was like, I forgot his name. It was that long time ago. It was actually the same night that I met one of Beyonce's former singers. It's really funny, just before I moved to LA. So, because this was still in New York. So at this karaoke bar, chilling with my friends, his friend comes up to me. I forgot his name. It was a very common name. It was something like Derek or Miles, something like that. And he was so sweet. He was talking to me and so forth and so forth. And then he had his friend, who was Dwyane Wade, come join the conversation. And he was very respectful, such a gentleman. And I had no idea who he was at all. So I wonder if he would remember this story, because I do remember it because it was so funny. And he introduced himself. I forgot I think he said Wade or something like that. I forgot completely his name, what he introduced himself as. But I think he did say Dwyane. And I was like, oh, cool name. And I had no idea who he was at all, like at all. So we were talking, and his friend was like, oh yeah, Hallie just started a skincare line, because I had just started my skincare line, which I'm about to relaunch very soon, stay tuned. But I was like, yeah, I'm so passionate about skincare, and you know, I just went to school for it, and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, they were so humble and so sweet. Looking back, I'm like a little embarrassed. So his friend was like, he gave me Dwyane gave me a high five. I'm saying Dwyane, like I know him. But he gave me a high five, and his hand was so big. And I was like, oh my gosh, your hand is so big. And I mean, obviously, I had a couple of drinks, so I was a little tipsy. So obviously, I was like talking a lot. And I was like, oh my gosh, your hand is so big. His hand was literally like this size. And I was like, oh my gosh, your hand is so big. I was like, oh my god, because I was wearing heels. I'm 5'6.5", 5'7", without heels. When I was wearing heels, I was about 5'11", 6 foot. So I, with heels, tall heels, came up to his chest. And I was like, whoa, you're really tall. Like after I saw his hand, and then I came up to his chest, I was like, oh my gosh, you are really tall. Because I've dated a lot of tall guys. I'd say most guys I've dated have been at least 6 foot, 6'2", and I didn't come up to their chest. They were like 2-3 inches taller than me. Do you know what I'm saying? When I was wearing heels. So when I realized how tall he was, I was like, are you an athlete or something? And everybody laughed. Like the whole group, all their friends laughed. And I was like, why is that so funny? I'm asking a real question. So he said to me, he's like, are you like the clown of your friends? And I'm like, no, I just want to know. I just want to know if you're actually an athlete, because I've never seen anybody so tall, other than an athlete that I met like a long time ago. So tall and so with such big hands. And then just laughed. And then I turned around and I saw everybody like taking photos and stuff. And I was like, that's really odd. So I exchanged numbers with a friend. I gave him my business card. And then as I was heading home, I was like, because he had a titanium, like a black titanium wedding ring. And I was like, I've seen that ring before. And I just thought about the ring, you know, being a girly girl. And I was like, I've seen that ring before. And I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't know his name, but I Googled Gabrielle Union, because I remember I had seen their wedding. And I was like, is that the same ring that I saw at their wedding? It was like on BET or something like that. And I Googled the ring, titanium ring, Gabrielle Union, and then his picture showed up, and I was like, that's the guy. It's really funny. And quite a story. Yeah, so that was a few years ago. Very funny, very, very funny story. So yeah, so now back to the reading of Gabrielle Union. Yeah, so when I was shuffling the cards, I have to be cautious when I use these words, because I feel like Hollywood likes to stereotype specific people into categories, and I don't want to be a part of that. But I think her energy is very angry energy, you know? And I understand being in Hollywood. I mean, I left the entertainment industry 10 years ago and haven't looked back. I think I've dated obviously some people who are still in it and so forth, but I think that it can make you very jaded, guarded. Even living in LA, I felt very jaded, guarded, and had my walls up, and that's the energy that I get from her. Very guarded. Now her sun is in Scorpio, and Scorpios, I love Scorpios. No matter what people say, okay, Scorpio is one of my favorite signs. Even though I haven't had great relationships, romantic relationships with Scorpios, particularly one, I can still say I find them so interesting. I find Scorpios to be very interesting. I I honestly wish I could be with a Scorpio romantically. I just don't think it's possible. Because they're very charming. They have this sex appeal. And they're very, I don't know, they're still, an Aquarius, I'm still an Aquarius. We're very drawn to people that, you wouldn't necessarily understand from the moment you meet them, you know? We like people that have a sense of like mystery, you know? We like puzzles. We like people that are puzzles. And Scorpios are definitely puzzles. And we love that. The only thing that I see, her rising is in Capricorn and her moon is in Leo. And something that I see about moon and Leo, I've seen that a lot about a lot of moon and Leos. They can cause drama without meaning to, you know, they can be very dramatic. Leos in general, Leo's actually my favorite sign. But when it comes to the moon, some people with moon and Leos can be they can project their emotions out instead of processing them by themselves and really holding themselves accountable for what they're feeling. So with the Justice, 3 of Wands and Queen of Swords, I get the strong energy that she's in quite some legal trouble. And actually when I picked this, when I was shuffling the cards, I never followed up with the NBC. I never really followed up with, I know she was suing NBC because of America's Got Talent. They said that they were just being very racial towards her. And trust me, I think a lot of the time people exaggerate racial claims. But her, I believed. As soon as she said, because I've been in the entertainment industry, Hollywood is the most racist place I have been in. And LA is an extension of that. I talk about that a lot. I just wasn't for me, you know. And I think about, and people think this is trivial. They think it's very small. But if you're doing a show, for example, in the middle of nowhere, that's a small town in America, majority of the show realistically is going to be white, hands down. That makes total sense. If you think about a lot of my shows I've watched, the majority of the cast will be white. Majority of my shows that I've watched that I love, a majority cast will be black. That's not what people are saying about something like Friends. Like Friends was in New York, and being from New York, it's very rare that you'll be in a coffee shop that's just white. And I feel like sometimes it's almost intentionally done. I don't know. Hollywood is just weird. It's just a weird place. And I feel like they love to like push racial stereotypes, stuff like that. And on both sides, not just on one side. So I do believe her about that. I believe that they were pushing a racial stereotype. They wanted her to, and I think what happens sometimes in Hollywood, they want to cater to a specific race, especially nowadays, but they just don't know how, that it comes across offensive, you know. And I noticed that during BLM, when I saw people that I personally knew posting black squares, when some of these people I know, they didn't believe in it at all. In fact, I knew one person who had made racially insensitive comments when I was around them, and I had to tell them, like, I think you are being racist, you know, not in a mean way, because some people just don't realize that they are, you know. And I saw her post a black square, and I was just like, okay, you know. So I just feel like sometimes with any issue, particularly when it comes to equality, I say that because I don't really think that Hollywood knows anything about equality. I think when it comes to any real issues, Hollywood has no idea about it, but they just want to pander. And I think that they were using her to pander. So with Queen of Swords, I strongly feel like she has learned a big lesson. I think she's learned to keep her guard up. I think she's learned to separate herself from certain people. I just remembered a story. I used to know somebody that, actually I know two people. One of the stories I don't want to tell because I don't think it's my story to tell, and it's actually on somebody that knows Dwyane. I knew someone who used to I used to work with someone whose really close friends used to date Dwyane Wade. And I don't want to kind of tell that story because I feel like it's not my story to tell. But I've heard from personal stories that she's not the nicest person to deal with. And I think a lot of that is because she's had to deal with these Hollywood execs. And granted, we should own our lives. But I don't know how else you're supposed to deal with these kind of people without being bitchy or being, you know, very assertive. So with the Death card, Scorpio card, I strongly see something new coming into her life. Even though death represents letting go, it also represents new. And if you can see this card here, there's almost like a metamorphosis of a moth. Moths are so cute. Oh my gosh, I love moths. I love butterflies and I love moths. And the two women separating, oh my gosh, I think that her and Mr. Wade are going to go their separate ways in the next 2 years. Boss in the Cup being the King of Cups, I don't think... Yeah, this is the thing, okay? She's a very LA girl, I can just tell that. And even though she's from Nebraska, I believe, she's in one of my favorite movies. And I was watching it the other day, and I was like, oh my gosh, Gabrielle Union. 10 Things I Hate About You. And she's in one of my other favorite movies. Wow, she's been in a lot of my favorite movies. She's All That. I love She's All That. Oh my gosh, guys, if you haven't watched She's All That, please watch She's All That. I know it's like a 90s, it's like a late 90s movie. I watched it the other day. It's so funny. Freddie Prinze Jr., who's so hot. And she's in, I was just like, I remember seeing her in another movie I just recently watched. Yeah. So she was kind of like the 90s LA girl, you know, California girl, even though she's from Nebraska. But I think she represented the like supporting actress 90s girl. You know, she still looks the same too, which is so good for her. But I think in that she kind of got stuck. I think, and this is what I said about Zendaya too. And you know, somebody the other day said that with Raven Simone, one of her former sidekicks on the show, That's So Raven, said that they were being racist by casting her. Oh my gosh, I'm talking so much about race today. I'm sorry guys, I'm usually not like this. I usually don't like to talk about it, but but somebody said it was racism, and I don't necessarily think that is true. I think, particularly with this, I think some people, regardless of your race, you get stuck into feeling second, you know? You get stuck into the, I'm the supporting, I'm plan B. And I can speak from experience, I used to be okay with being number two, you know? Until I realized that I was letting myself be put second in family situations, in relationships. Like, I was always just a standby, and it wasn't fair to me. And I think because of that, it's made her angry. Because she hasn't spoken out for herself. And I say this about all water signs. Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. If you are one of those signs, you know somebody who has their sun sign in that sign, they need to learn to speak up for themselves. Because if they don't, they become bitter, angry, and very resentful. So 4 of Cups, 5 Wands, 2 of Wands. I see that happening with her, very resentful. And it's hard to be in a relationship with someone that is resentful, bitter. And that's what I see happening with them. They're going to drift apart from each other. When I met Dwyane Wade, I got such I don't know if I think I might have told that story. I've told so many. I've had so many celebrity stories that I forget since I was a kid. So I forget which stories I've told or not. But I think I might have told that story, the Dwyane Wade story, before. But when I met him, I just got such gentle. He was an utter gentleman, kind. He looked me in the eye and told me, and trust me, I've met a lot of jerks that are celebrities. But I find when I meet athletes, a lot of athletes, they don't have this sense of superiority that I see in a lot of musicians and models have been the most, and actresses have been the most like superior complex. But athletes, I think, because, and I'm not knocking anybody at all, anybody's jack of trades, you know, but I do think that when you're an athlete, you have to prove yourself. That's why I've always related to athletes. Growing up, I've always admired athletes. They've always, you know, my dad was a boxer, and he always tell me about like using your physical with your mental. And there's something very, very powerful about that, because it gives you discipline and it gives you restraint, you know. And in Hollywood, there's not that much discipline, even though I think that there should be. There's not a lot of discipline and self-control. And I see when athletes are in Hollywood, they're a different kind of Hollywood person, if that makes any sense. I feel like they're more humble, they just understand, to me, that the struggle was harder to attain than others. That's just what I've experienced. So, Temperance and Nine of Cups, and granted, I don't agree with a lot of what he does. I don't agree with how he's using his child. In my opinion, the way that he is, that's just my opinion. I don't believe any child should be given a soapbox when they don't understand the value of it. That's why I think celebrity children should stay private until they're 18 and they decide. So the Temperance and Nine of Cups, I see him trying to make amends later. In fact, I see this going down as them becoming more distant. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think she's capable of being in a healthy relationship until she deals with who she really is. And by really is, I mean, because I'm just remembering she did that speech about how she used to be a mean girl. I've energetically picked up that she does still have some mean girl energy. And until she's real and honest with herself, in fact, until I think she leaves Hollywood, a lot of these people, her relationships with other people is just not going to be authentic, and it's not going to be the same. I get definitely Keeping Up with the Joneses energy from them. Queen of Wands, King of Cups, yeah, Ace of Pentacles. I get Keeping Up with the Joneses energy. Five of Pentacles and Three of Swords. And that's going to be her demise. Not even in this relationship, in her life. So, wow, that was a long reading. I didn't expect for it to be that long. Just, Scorpios really fascinate me, I must say that. They often have this, like I said, the many layers. And, you know, I have this Scorpio friend. And this is what I love about Scorpios. Not just one Scorpio, many Scorpios. They are okay. You know, even when I'm thinking about my ex, who's a Scorpio, who sometimes I listen to the songs. I know he still watches my stuff. He's probably gonna watch this and see this, but sometimes I still listen to his songs that he wrote for us, and because what drew me to him was his music. He's so talented, and sometimes I still listen to his music, and I'm just so like fond of how much passion he has for music. Scorpios are very passionate people, but it's hidden, and it's only for a certain amount of people. And I love that they can be so vulnerable. And the story I was going to tell you is that I have this friend, and one time she lashed out at me. I forgot what it was. And usually I'm not okay with that, but I was like, she has her moment, you know, let me just let it be. She came to me later and she said, I'm so sorry, you didn't deserve that. And she explained to me exactly why she did what she did. And I think that is one of the most admirable things about someone is when, if you do wrong, you can say sorry for what you did and why you did it. And that has been why I have loved Scorpios so much. It's not just one Scorpio, it's a lot of the relationships I have with Scorpios. It's like that. They'll acknowledge what they did, say sorry, I did it because of A, B, and C, and I won't do it again. And I'm like, wow, you know, I just love that kind of vulnerability. It's beautiful. It's a really beautiful thing. So that's why I love my Scorpios. Okay, so let's move on to Selena, Sun and Cancer. I know a lot of people don't like Scorpios, but it is. That's just why I love them. Even like I said, my ex too, I don't talk to you anymore. I can still be like, you know what? I'm glad we had that relationship, even though I think he's not all there. Maybe one day he will be, and I wish him well. Okay, Selena. Some of you were so mad at me that I included her name in the last reading. Like, guys, it's just a reading, okay? I pick up what the energies tell me to pick up on. Okay. Wow. So, let's see this. Eight of Swords. So, the energy I picked up on, I got like a sense of freedom. And wow, okay, so I get the sense she's starting something new and is like nervous. There's new music coming, there's a tour coming, and there's a possible book in the works. So Eight of Swords, King of Pentacles, and Nine of Pentacles. I see here that she's isolating herself. And I keep picturing this. I've pictured this for about a year now. Rebranding of management, rebranding of her brand, rebranding of a lot of things so that she can relaunch herself. I think the next time she relaunches herself will be the last major album she puts out before she takes a hiatus. So a Seven of Cups, the Moon, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be very, very big. Bottom of the deck, Page of Swords, and she's trying to focus. You know, people can say what they want about Selena Gomez. I'm actually not a fan. I'd say, and I don't want to compare. I'm just comparing for the music styles of what I like, because I think Selena Gomez, I don't know her personally, but I get the energy of integrity, and I think that's so admirable about somebody. When somebody has integrity, they can hold themselves up, they hold their heads up high. You know, people say things about her, I don't believe them to be true. About just saying she's a mean girl, I don't think she is. I really don't get that vibe. I think she is really one of those people, like with most people who are in light work or want to quote unquote make the world a better place. I think she's really trying her best every day. You know, when you do that, you're not going to please everybody, but you do it anyway. So with this energy, I pick up very strongly something new's coming. She's gonna push herself very hard. She's getting prepared. I see, like, I don't follow her on Instagram. I say this all the time. I hardly follow any celebrities, My celebrities are more like Real Housewives and stuff like that. Actually, when I used to work at this very famous restaurant, and like big name producers would come in, big name directors, big name actresses, big name actors, and I never got starstruck once. The one time I got starstruck in my life was when I met Andy Cohen. He came in and he said hi, and I was like, oh my god, that's Andy Cohen. And this was like 9 years ago. And all my coworkers were like, who's Andy Cohen? I'm like, you guys don't know Andy Cohen? I bet you now they know who Andy Cohen is because Bravo is blowing up. But that's the only time I've ever been starstruck. And I met a top A-list, whatever that means, people. And it doesn't fascinate me. But Real Housewives, that's so those are the people I follow. So I see with her the sense of cleansing, plants. I see plants. She might be showing this on her Instagram too. Like plants, cleansing, juicing, getting ready. She's getting her health together to go on tour. For the next 3 years, she's really going to push herself. So for now, she's just taking her time. Okay. And this just reveals to me about some kind of love situation. 3 of Swords, 2 of Cups in reverse. She's let go of someone. I don't think it's Zayn. It's another guy who she could foresee that he was going to hurt her. And I've definitely been there recently. She saw a pattern that he had a habit, that she had a pattern of dating people like that, and she let him go. 7 of Swords, 5 Pentacles, 4 Wands, and she was just like, you know what? I'm going to choose me. Even though I want to get married, even though I want all that kind of stuff, I'd rather it right. And trust me, I completely agree. In fact, personal story, when I was 27, I thought I was going to marry and be with this guy. And he ended up doing me really, really dirty because I used to be like the laissez-faire girlfriend, anything goes. And after I went through that kind of heartbreak, I said to myself, it has to be right. And she's telling herself the same thing. It has to be right. It has to be healthy. It has to be drama-free, or I don't want it. And I say good for you, Selena. I'm rooting. I'm seriously, if I were to root for anybody the most that I do readings on, it's definitely her. Because she's walking the talk, and I love that. Okay, so last one, I'm going to do Harry Styles update. A lot of you have been messaging me on Instagram. Sometimes I can't get to messages. I'm so sorry, guys. I do a lot. But a lot of you have been messaging me, asking me to do this. Change decks. And saying what's going on, like career-wise, music-wise, what's the angle. I get very strongly, the energy I'm picking up on is, oh, this is so beautiful. Coming back home. It reminds me of that song, I'm coming home, tell the world I'm coming home, let the rain wash away. I think he is, that's not a Harry Styles song, but that's just the energy I picked up on. He is tapping into, and somebody sent me a message on Instagram, thank you so much, that he sang a song from One Direction on one of his shows. And I think he's reminding himself, this is what Aquarius we do sometimes. We do little things to remind ourselves of the past. And I just recently said earlier in the video that I'm Sun in Aquarius. Actually, our charts are almost identical. Lots of air energy in our prominent chart. So that's why I feel like I can relate to him so much, and I can like explain his behavior, because Aquarius, we're very mysterious. We don't mean to be mysterious. Like I ask people all the time, like, what did you think of me when you met me? And most people be like, I thought you were very mysterious. And I'm like, but I'm not. I think it's so funny because I don't mean to be, We're we don't like people knowing too much about us because we don't like to be judged, and that's one big thing. We don't like people in our business. You know, the number one pet peeve that I can't stand is when I tell someone a story and they either just regurgitate a phrase they've heard, or they tell me what I need to do, and I'm like, that's not what I told you. That's not what I was saying. That's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't like people in our business like that. So we're very picky with who we share our stories to. That's why we often use like a creative way of explaining ourselves through music, through writing, through something that's creative to tell our story, because we don't like to verbally tell it. And his is music, obviously. And he's going back, which is of course what we do sometimes, going back to like nostalgia. Like, we're very nostalgic people, very, very, especially through music. And I think he's reminding himself, oh my gosh, I was 16 when I did this. He's going through his past and remembering the innocence of music and why he started. And I believe truly music is his first love. Most Aquarius, music is our first love. So with 8 of Swords, Starseed, 8 of Wands, he is reminding himself that there's always a chance to, oh my gosh, this is what I did recently. It's so funny. But whenever I do reading on her, I'm like, oh my gosh, this sounds like me. But he's reminding himself that the past, he's reminding himself that every time he thought things wouldn't turn out and he just had hope, they turn out for the better. And I strongly feel like that's why he's singing these songs. He might sing more songs, 7 of Cups, and like dream. We're big dreamers, Aquarius. We love to dream. He's gonna dream of like where, and that's how often he manifests things into being. I think even with the movies, he manifested himself in the movies and stuff like Aquarius, fixed signs. Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo. We are master manifestors. Master manifestors. We can manifest because we fixate on things. And you know what you think about a lot often tends to manifest. And because he's dreaming about something, it's going to manifest. What he's dreaming of, I don't know if I should release it. It might be. Sometimes I don't like to release too much about a person because I feel like some things are not for me to reveal. But what he's dreaming of pertains to love. And it's not, I don't want to get into this whole people assuming he had something with another One Direction member. I really don't know why people are so obsessed with that. It's just like, leave it alone. And I promise you, if anybody puts a comment like that on my page, I will delete it. You will be blocked from the channel. It's just, I'm not into this whole, I'm not into what you guys are trying to push. Some of you, not all of you. But the bottom of the deck being 2 of Pentacles, he's starting a new career, a new business. It's related to fashion. It's related to like jewelry. I see jewelry. And yeah, it's going to come out. I see April 2024, he will have started this venture. And I'm very, very excited for him. So that's what I have for you all. I love you all. Please comment. I love what you have to say. Please be respectful. Please like the video if you liked it. And subscribe for more. I love you all. Take care.